Okay, welcome to game 2 of this medium games match. TeamOkay versus Fika Monster. This should be TeamOkay's first player. They lost the first game to Fika's first player. So for TeamOkay, you hold your own, you hold your home field advantage, and then you try to pick one up one away game over the course of the match. Especially for players, Fika Monster has a little bit higher ranking from the group stage than TeamOkay. They're both good players. So we have Village this time. We have some draw, we have some trashing. And we have Knights for attack, which is powerful. We have Inheritance, so there's a question of you want to try to rush Inheritance to inherit Caravan Guard, say, or probably Farming Village. You could even inherit Wayfarer, depending on how things happen. I think now that Fika has taken Damn Natalie, TeamOkay is going to respond. So Fika had two 5, and they take Natalie and Druid. It's going to be a little bit sad when they collide, but sometimes that happens. So I assume you just get Caravan Guards here. You don't want really more develops. They have realized that Poorhouse is in the kingdom. This is important with develop. If there's a 1-cost card, I think you just take the 1 Poorhouse and realize that it's going to be sad, and then try to pick up counterfeits to get rid of the rest of your treasures. Especially if you counterfeit all your treasures and inherit Farming Village or something. The Poorhouses are not the end of the world. And they are, I guess, technically immune to the Knights, which is something. It also means they can gain a Wayfarer for 2, which is quite nice. So Fika's playing, a little bit unfortunate draw. They drew 2-3, and then they had some collision, but they were able to gain a couple of Caravan Guards, which unfortunately get trashed. But I assume this is going to be like Earth's Gift for Farming Village. Yeah, I think in terms of, because Develop and Poorhouse, I probably would not trash estates and try to get to an inheritance here. Unfortunately, there's not like King's Court. Otherwise, you could develop Wayfarer into something like King's Court. So TeamOkay is actually getting pretty close to 7. They're just going to hit 6 here, but the Knights are starting to do their work and trash the opponent's things. They've each had 1 nice card trashed here so far. If they play the Poorhouse, they do get to 7. Okay, so that's quite nice. I think I'm inheriting Farming Village here. You could also buy copper and inherit Wayfarer, but I think Wayfarers will be easier to get in the long run. One nice thing about estates is that they are immune to the Knight stuff. So having estates as your village, at least your villages will always be safe. And some amount of time, actually, your Wayfarers will be safe depending on what your opponent has done during their turn. I think you probably... That line feels a little bit suboptimal to me. I think you really want to be, trying to get your engine online. So that's Farming Village, Wayfarer, Counterfeit. I don't really think you want Poorhouses other than as sort of you end up having to have them due to whatever factors. I would definitely develop the silver here into Village. I'm not sure why they don't want to gain the silver. The silver seems fine. I would definitely develop the silver into Farming Village Estate or Bishop Estate. If your deck can take a bishop now, you'll have a ton of villages. It may be that they just didn't see develop silver into estate because it's such an unlikely thing. And they still could have trashed 2 coppers, and I think they can still buy a Wayfarer there. Yeah, Dre, the Poorhouse stuff seems like it could be good later, but with Inheritance, you probably, again, here I would develop this silver into, I think they've just mentally ignored the fact that develop works on silvers. But developing silver into farming village and again bishop or estate seem quite good. Their deck has a ton of wayfarers, so like in theory they can get a ton of points off of trashing. I think they maybe gained one too many silvers here, but they seem to have found enough villages to continue the turn. And certainly they should develop this poorhouse. I think they just have too many treasures in this deck. And you're happy to get another estate. And the copper second is important, because then you can buy a Wayfarer for 0. Although one imagines they're going to do something like Wayfarer and 2 estates, which is going to be pretty strong. I think probably just 2 estates. I think they're still not drawing. They gained one or two too many silvers last turn for my taste. Yeah, I think you happily let the knight go now. If they can find a Wayfarer near the top of this shuffle, they should be okay. I again think they need to do a little bit more management about how many silvers they gain, or they need to be developing silvers into estate bishop. That just seems like a no-brainer to me. At this point, they've got overdraw and plenty of estates in draw, so they can start doing engine-y things. And bishop lets them just print points and get an even bigger lead. The 4th counterfeit works if they can reliably draw. I'm not quite sure. That turn they had 16 money, but only the 2 buys. So they're far enough ahead that it probably doesn't matter at this point. I'm not sure exactly where things changed. The inheritance that they hit on turn 8 was pretty solid, though. After that, they were able to put the pedal down, put the pedal to the metal to the other pedal. How's that go? Put the metal to the pedal to the other pedal, and get a pretty sizable lead going. Fika, I think, just kind of needed to do something here, but I think they are going to lose the game this turn if TeamOkay just needs to hit 14 and 4 buys, which they should have in hand. Just counterfeit, silver, and empty out the piles. So nice win there for TeamOkay. Again, the early inheritance, the develop didn't hurt them too much. They had this strategy with Wayfarer and Farming Village. I think it could have been a little bit faster if they developed silvers, but they seem to play it pretty well. So we're all tied up after 2 games. We are all tied up after 2 games.